Probably. Do I look fine without the hat? Can't tell.
No, just put it on. Just put it on. Cover up most of what you can.
You what?
Just cover up most of what you can. Yeah. Put the hat back on. Maybe put a mask on. Maybe put a face cover on. Just cover up the whole thing.
The whole thing.
Maybe you can just turn your camera off. I don't know.
What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the Savvy Scoundrel Slayers podcast, episode number 5, post New Year's edition. Today's podcast, as you can see, there's only 3 of us. Fawn is hella sick, so she won't be able to be here with us today. So we're gonna go ahead and record and keep bringing the content like we said we would. She'll be back with us next week after she's feeling a little bit better. But today, you got your boy SG.
Honest.
Shin.
And that's it.
We just rocking it.
Yeah, you got to mix things up a little bit, just got to keep providing the content, So today, what we've got on tap for you is New Year's resolutions, starting with Tapshin, since he's on the left this time. He's going to start, and he's going to tell us what his New Year's resolutions were.
Okay. I don't have much, but if I had to list out a couple of things, first would be hitting at least Grandmaster in TFT. If you don't know what TFT is, it's Teamfight Tactics. I'm currently a master, or I recently hit masters, and my goal right now is to hit at least Grandmaster.
Wow.
Solid goal.
Mm-hmm. And I'm also a League of Legends player as well. And my goal this season is to hit at least Diamond. I finished last season as Platinum.
Plat 4?
Yeah, Plat 4. Actually, on my other account, I finished Plat 3. So I guess the highest rank I've hit last season is Plat 3. This season, my goal is to hit at least Diamond. Higher the better. Yeah, and that's pretty much it.
Fair.
Okay.
Gamer life, man. Gamer life.
Yes, sir.
As for me, I would say my New Year's resolutions are to hit Plat in League, but with a caveat of, like, if I hit Plat early, I'm hitting Diamond. If I hit Plat prior to mid-season invitational, I'm hitting Diamond. That's my New Year's my New Year's goal, right? And then I would also say that I would like to be in a place where I can be posting more on, like, my own social medias.
Mm-hmm.
At least 3 forms of content a day.
Oh,
by the end of the year. 3 a day. Yeah, so that's like pretty wild goal, So I have it divided into, 1 a day at the first the first quarter. The middle 2 quarters will be 2 a day, and then third quarter I'm going to try to get that 3.
Okay.
And then I would also say to, like, set a goal of like making at least 50% more money.
Wow.
That's solid.
Yeah.
It's feasible.
It's feasible. I mean, if you can make the amount you're making right now, you can make 50% more. Right?
Depends how much.
Hypothetically speaking, how much work are you going to put in, right?
It's true. But if I could, like, make half of my income in, like, other forms, like in streaming or YouTube or whatever, if I'm posting, Like, that's totally feasible. It's not that much, you know?
Yeah,
Not
it's
like
not
I
that bad.
make, not like I make, 190K, I'm
Right.
just a normal guy.
Fair enough.
Your average Joe,
Yeah.
100 Thieves fan, League of
True.
Legends player.
True. League of Legends star. Really.
Oh,
No.
yeah.
Yeah. Like, the best ever, plain and simple.
No.
I don't know about that. I've seen your gameplay.
Let's not
I-
get ahead of ourselves right here. You're probably best ever to play at Master E at like high silver, low gold tier at best.
Savage.
Just gotta if you wanna hit plat or diamond, you gotta learn about yourself first. And
You
if you think you're a
scoundrel.
star, if you think you're a star, I think you gotta change your mindset starting from there.
You
Just
must.
trying to help you out. Just trying to help you out.
Hey, man, gotta respect being real, right?
Yeah, your boy gotta be real with your boys.
These two are both realists.
Mhm.
This guy's an optimist.
I
By
think
a lot.
I think there's a healthy balance between optimism and realism, right?
For sure.
Fair.
If you can't be an optimist, then you can never like truly set a goal that you can accomplish, right? The piece to that is that you can actually accomplish it, and that's the realism piece, right? If you can't be a realist, right, then how can you actually set something that's attainable versus like, I could shoot for the stars and just say, I'm going to make this goal that's like way out there, right? But if it's never something I can actually attain, then what's the point in having a goal in the first place, right? Sure, it's something to push you forward, but if you're never going to reach that goal, what's the point, right? Matthew McConaughey, he was doing, I think it was like a Grammys, not Grammys, the Oscars awards, right? And he went up and he gave a speech about how someone when he was a kid asked him, "What do you want to be in like 10 years?" Right?
Okay.
And he was like, "I want to be myself in 10 years," right? My goal is to be myself 10, 20, 50 years from now, right? When I hit that point. So he goes, someone comes out and he's like, "Hey, how are you doing? Like, did you make your goal?" Right? And he was like, "No." He was like, "Why?" Is because now I'm striving to be myself 10 years from now. Right. And it just keeps going on that pattern of like, I'm constantly striving to be, a better version of myself. And so like, sure, that's not something that's attainable, but it's that same concept of like, I'm always looking for something that I can then go and get. Right. And you may never reach that goal, and that's okay. As long as that is your mindset and like, I'm going to do that.
True.
That's deep,
I
huh?
do like
That's
that.
deep.
I do like that. Matthew
So-
McConaughey is such a G. His book,
Yeah.
Green Lights,
So good.
fire.
You definitely, I'll go back and I'll find that clip and then I'll send it to you. Cause like, you really should go watch the full speech. Cause the full speech is like, just hands out. Like it is phenomenal. Like it was so good. Like it really like makes you, kind of feel something for him. And then also like want you to do something, gives you kind of like an actionable task to like do something after listening, which is, not something that, not everybody does.
Yeah, I'll leave that in the comments. Or in
Yeah.
For sure.
in the what's it called, description.
Description.
Yeah, that one.
It'll be in the description.
Below.
You can find it down below.
Yeah,
With some
make
sort
sure
of
you go
cool
check it out.
animation of someone going.
Yeah. Why don't you just go right
Or
here
more
and then like
Anyway, so myself,
Mhm.
my New Year's resolution. So, this is my first season playing, right? If we're talking about like league related, New Year's resolutions, my first season playing ended peak silver 1, right? First season playing, not terrible, right? So, and I think after considering I really tanked my MMR at the beginning of the season, learning how to play the game, right, kind of limits how much you're able to like feasibly climb within playing a certain amount of games, right, to reset your MMR. My goal for next season is to hit plat. I really think I can do it, right? Doing boot camp and consuming content and actually getting to play the game and branch out and try new stuff. And I'm not OTP anymore. Like, keep your champs pool small, but like still branch out and try other things so you can get a better understanding of the game as a whole, right? So my goal for League, hit plat 4 by the end of season 12.
Nice.
Yes, sir. And then let's see, a non-league related goal, I think would be to find a healthier work home life balance. Because right now I work a ton. And just
Fair.
I wake up in the morning and I'm up until 1, 2 in the morning doing work stuff. I get a little break to record podcasts or play a couple of games of League or attend a coaching class or something like that, but I spend all of my time working. It's the life of a startup.
Yeah.
Gotta do that kind of stuff. You gotta put the grind in and it'll pay off eventually. So yeah, but I think there is a healthy balance of like, okay, you can give this much time and energy, but you also need to be able to take this much time and energy for yourself. You got to be able to balance that a little bit. So I think that's a goal I'm setting for myself.
Okay.
Nice. It's
I
funny.
like that.
I have a weird relationship with work-life balance. That's for sure.
Oh,
Because I think that it's not really a balance if like I don't think it has to be 50-50, nor do I think even that like it doesn't not have to be like 80-20.
what's 80 and what's 20?
80 being 80% of the time you're working and 20%
Okay.
of the time you have your own time, because from my perspective, like there's this great quote that I live by is that
Wait, is it by Will Smith?
no, actually,
Okay.
it's by Rory Vaden, and he says he calls it the rent axiom, which you can substitute anything into the rent axiom and it still applies. So he says success is never owned. Success is only rented, and the rent is due every day.
Mm-hmm.
And he adds on the piece of like, how much are you willing to pay?
Okay.
And also you can substitute anything into that. Like being in great physical health is never owned; it's rented, and the rent is due every day. Being in a great relationship is never owned; it's rented, and the rent is due every day. So
Okay.
you substitute anything into it, and it still applies.
Yeah, and I think that's super, super interesting because like, that's true. You're never going to even people that are like absurdly successful in their lives, right? Like, we'll take like, Elon Musk, right? Just some obscenely rich person, right? They put in a lot of work. He's in a position where if he wanted to, he could just say, I have enough money. I'm done. Right? I could just go and do my own thing and live my own life, and it's not going to affect me at all. Right? Sure, it'll affect other people. Someone's going to have to run my company, right? Or do whatever. Right. But he could just be hands off. Like, you know what? I'm over it. Right. I'm over putting in all this time and effort, and I could just go on vacation for the rest of my life and be totally fine. But he's not. right? He's still working. He's on the floor at these gigafactories is what they're calling them, right?
Right.
And he's out there and he's doing conferences and he's doing marketing himself. He's going out and talking to these people about being investors or whatever, and advertising his product and going to conferences and giving speeches and going on talk shows and all of these things. Like, he's doing all of this work in order to make sure that like his success goes beyond him, right?
Yeah.
And then even once you retire, you're still not just vacationing. You're still talking to your financial advisors. You're still paying people. You're still, maintaining your work, your home life and your personal relationships and all of these things. Like, you're still constantly doing something that's contributing to what you would consider to be success, right? So like for us, sure, we're not in that same boat. We're not making absurd amount of money, right? But we're still having to put in that same level of effort to try and make sure that we're having the most successful life that we can in our own versions of that, right?
Because success means something different to everybody,
Exactly.
True.
Success could mean wealth. Success and there's different definitions of what wealth means, right? Wealth could be finances. Wealth could be just having a living space. Wealth could be the quality of your relationships, whether that's a romantic or just like a friendship with somebody, that could be wealth to somebody. And then there's possessions and all of those other things. Like there's so many different things that wealth could mean, right? And then that could then be someone's version of success. Is whatever this image is in my head of whatever this thing is, that's success to me, right? And then they go and then that's what they strive to achieve. I think where people tend to fall off and, where like New Year's resolutions and all of these things tend to, fall off and go away and, they never actually get accomplished is because people are too short-sighted when they're making these things, right? They just they do something superficial like, oh, I'm going to go to the gym every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And do
Not
what?
gonna happen.
Yeah.
And do what? What is your goal? Right? Is your goal, I'm going to lose 20 pounds in the next, 6 weeks?
It's true.
What is it?
They never have like a set thing.
Yeah. Some the business world calls these SMART goals, right?
Yeah.
What does SMART stand for? It's
I can't remember what SMART. Sustainable.
Specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time bound, right? And that would be what is a SMART goal? So like, let's take our league ones, right? That we did. Specific. I'm going to hit plat 4 by the end of season 12, right?
Okay, that's pretty specific.
That's specific. It's measurable because you can say, did I hit plat 4? Yes or no?
Straight up.
Okay, right? It's attainable, hypothetically speaking, based on how much time and effort I put in, right? It's definitely achievable. It's not like I'm saying I'm going to hit Challenger this season. That's unrealistic, right? So it's attainable, right? It's realistic because a division or a division in one is not too crazy. Right?
It's doable.
Change. Yeah, it's doable.
Especially if you're getting just started on League of Legends and this is your second season.
Yeah, and it's not that crazy, right? And then time bound by the end of season 12, there's a specific time frame for that. That's what, November 2022.
Mid-November. No,
mid-November. Yeah, so there's a definite endpoint, right? And so that all in of itself would be what I would consider a SMART goal, right? In business terms. So like, okay, let's apply this to, going to the gym. Okay, I'm going to go to the gym to work out these things so that I can weigh 20 pounds less in 3 months.
Yeah. Perfect.
Specific.
Good
I'm
goal.
going to the gym every day to work out these things, right? Measurable, you can check your weight, right? Are you actually losing weight while you're doing this, right? Attainable, 20 pounds in 3 months. That's
Pretty
reasonable
attainable.
as long as you're actually putting in the work, you're correcting your diet and doing all of these things, right? 20 pounds is not crazy, right? Realistic, it kind of falls along the same lines as attainable. Like, yeah, like it's doable, right? If I were to say I wanted to lose 100 pounds in 3 months, then I'd say you're fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Unless
Attainable,
you're
not realistic.
right. Time bound, 3 months. Deadline is like that's when it is. If I don't hit my goal within that time frame, then that's over. Like I didn't
Fail.
accomplish my goal.
True. True.
But anyway, so for all of you listening, SMART goals. If you're gonna make a New Year's resolution, make it a SMART goal.
True.
Make sure,
Yes,
and
sir.
it helps to write it out. You know, because you could list all of these things out in your head, but then if you don't have something to refer back to make sure that you're holding yourself accountable, or if you don't talk to somebody else to make sure they can hold you accountable, then you're not doing yourself any favors, right? You're giving yourself an excuse to fail, right? Because you then didn't go and do what you needed to do in order to make sure that you could succeed, right? Because then you could say, oh, well, I forgot, or
Yeah.
oh, I didn't feel like it.
As well
What's the point
as
in setting a goal?
yeah, and I think that if you make a goal like that, like going to the gym or climbing league, right? You have to like set like when you're going to be doing that prior to the time that you would be doing it, if that makes sense. Like
Yeah.
like it's not going to the gym that's the hard part about working out. Like cuz going like when you're at the gym, working out is not that hard cuz you're already there. You know, it's right there.
Getting yourself out of the house to actually go to the gym.
It's sitting on your couch deciding whether or not you're gonna go to the gym. That's the hard part.
The motivating yourself to actually do it, you know?
And sometimes that's hard. Sometimes it's hard to internally motivate yourself. So you need, either something or someone to then externally motivate you to go, right? If you are finding that you're struggling to internally motivate yourself to go, talk to somebody. Say, hey, I need to help me. And then maybe you offer something in return. You're like, do you have any goals that I can help you with? Right? I can hold you accountable if you hold me accountable. Right?
For sure.
As well
And then
as
it's fun.
like how I did it for League, like how I've gotten so freaking bought into League is so I know that like I have a hard time with making goals like that. Like I will freaking decide not to go, right? But have you ever heard of the buy-in principle of success?
Yes.
Yeah. So
How much are you buying into whatever your idea is?
yeah,
Right?
like and even if that's financially. So like I've spent so much money on League, like a stupid amount, right? And that's literally because I'm paying for it because the more that you're willing to invest into it, the less likely you are to let it fail.
And it's the same thing if it doesn't have to be finances. It could be time.
Right.
Find something you're passionate about, right? And that's what you make a goal about, right? If you want to grow a business, okay, sure. How much time and effort and obviously finances are you going to put into growing a successful business, right? Because if you're not willing to put in the time, the money, the effort, the blood, sweat, and tears, right, to make that work, then you're not doing the right thing. Because if you don't care about it enough to do all of those things, then your focus is on the wrong thing, right?
Yeah.
I have a job that you don't care about other than, because it's the only thing that you can get at the time. But even while you're in that job, why are you not looking for the next opportunity?
Right.
Why are you not looking for the thing that you could be doing that you do enjoy? Right? If you want to commit to streaming full time, props to you. Commit. Do it. Stream every day at the same time, or whatever, every other day or whatever you're going to do. If you're going to do it full time, I really think you got to do it every day, but that's my opinion, right? But you there is time and effort, and then you have to commit. You have to buy in to that idea. Get yourself a nice setup, right? That's finances, right? If you can't afford a nice setup, figure it out. Figure out a way to make something that looks decent with the budget equipment that you have. There's tons of YouTube content about how to accomplish this, right? It's not the way has been paved for you already, right? That's one less thing that you have to figure out. The only thing that's holding you back is yourself.
Yeah.
The only thing that's holding you back is yourself and how much time and effort you are willing to put in to whatever this is.
Yeah, and I also think it has a lot to do. I think it also has a lot to do with like the people around you too.
Yeah, because if they don't support you in what you're doing, then all you're going to hear is constant negativity. Why are you doing this? Get a real job, blah, 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 right?
Yeah.
Why are you surrounding yourselves with people who aren't going to help you achieve your goals?
Like, look at your last 5 text messages. Are those people you throwing logs on your fire? Or are they pissing on it?
Right. It's a serious question. It's something that we have to all consider, right?
True. I agree with that 100%.
I couldn't be doing what I'm doing right now if my girlfriend was like, get a real job.
Yeah. That would be rough.
I consider this to be a real job. Sure, I sit at home all day, right? But I'm getting paid. 2, I have tangible product that I can say, I'm doing something with my time, right? And anybody can look at it and be like, oh, yeah, there's something being accomplished here.
Yeah.
And it's something I can put on a resume really easily, and I guarantee I could get a different job if I really wanted to. But I think that there's huge growth potential here, right? Huge growth potential here, right? Sure. But if Morgan didn't think that this was something that was a real job because I'm not actually going to an office or I'm not going to a restaurant or a store or something to work, right?
Then there's no way.
I don't have that person in my life.
Yeah. There's no way that you could feasibly keep yourself as disciplined to do it if the people around you
someone
are
else
not
is constantly trying to take me away from what I'm trying to accomplish.
If that's the case, you'll probably eventually come down to make a decision between the person or the job, or you're eventually going to come down to a point where I had enough. It's either I listen to what this person says or fuck this person, I'm gonna do what I want. You're eventually gonna have to make that decision if there are people that are around you that are bringing that negativity and bringing all that BS with them. You're eventually gonna have to cut them out, or
especially if I bet there's so many people where they aren't following their passions because of their parents. Imagine that. If every Thanksgiving dinner when you go home, you have to spend time with people that don't support you.
That's brutal.
And so that's when it's really hard to tear someone out of your life,
Right.
And it's not even cutting off completely. You can obviously still be friends with them, but just no more spending time with them,
Right.
Yeah, no, maybe not even that, but you just tell them this is what I'm gonna do. Stop talking about it. I'm gonna take care of it. You just watch. Just tell them. Just stay out of it, and you'll take care of it. And if they don't stop, then at that point you're gonna have to make a decision.
Yep.
My favorite quote is, maybe it's not my favorite quote, but it's one of my favorite quotes, is from Lost, the TV show.
Yeah.
John Locke, his go-to quote is, "Don't tell me what I can't do." Right?
True. Pursuit of happiness.
Yeah, like don't tell me what I can't do. Like I know what I'm capable of, right? I know what I'm not capable of, right? Who are you to tell me what I can and can't do?
True.
Who are you? You're
Yeah.
not me. You don't know my limits. You don't know what my life situation is. You don't know what my financial situation is. You don't know where I'm at in my life to be able to make the decisions that I'm making. You can provide your input, sure, but that doesn't mean that I have to listen to it. And who are you to tell me that I can't do that? Right? If I
True.
say I want to go do this and I'm going to put in the time and effort, by all means, go do it. I'm not going to stop you.
Yeah,
That makes no sense.
it's
Just
just like he
go.
says to his kid in Pursuit of Happiness. It's, it's like, don't ever let somebody tell you that you can't do something. Not even me. And that was Will Smith.
Oh my god!
Had to tie it in
Don't
somehow.
even let Will Smith say it.
And then you know everybody makes fun of like the Shia LaBeouf clip, right? Like the
Just do it.
Just do it.
Yes,
you know,
you
everybody makes
did.
fun of it. But he makes a valid point in the sense that like don't let your dreams be dreams.
It's so
Don't-
true. It's the best thing
don't
that's ever
let
gone
your
viral.
dreams- Yeah, 100% because it's true though. And I think that's part of why it went viral. Like, yeah, sure, he looked crazy, right? Just going up there and repeating the same thing over and over again. But like the message out of core, right, was 100% true. What is stopping you from going out and attaining your dreams? What is stopping you? Identify those things and then fix it. Are finances a problem? Do something that's going to get you more money, right? So that then you can go and do the things that you want to do.
Yeah.
Are you in a toxic relationship? Why are you in that relationship? Because you need to? For why? Because you need to pay rent? Get another job that pays you better so that you can leave that person and sustain yourself, right?
Yeah.
What
Find a
is
roommate.
Yeah, find somebody else. What is stopping you from going out and accomplishing your goals? If you can't identify that thing, try harder or talk to somebody else. Get some external input on what they think might be stopping you.
And then
Sure.
I feel like it's important to look internally at yourself. It might be, you might be stopping yourself from doing what you really want because you're scared of that taking that step, or
Yep.
And this is
scared of
stuff
taking
that
that
you can
risk.
figure out right away. Like it's not going to be like, I'm going to go sit on my couch for 10 minutes and figure out what's stopping me, right?
Yep.
This is going to take some time and effort. This is part of that buy-in process. You have to figure it out and you have to spend the time necessary to figure out what is holding you back.
For
And if
sure.
there's nothing holding you back,
Then go. Go do it.
run, do it, full send.
It's
Whatever
simple
you
enough.
wanna
If there's
say.
nothing, if there isn't a reason why you shouldn't do it, there is 100% of the reason why you should do it.
True.
Chalupa says, if a game is losable, then by default it's winnable.
True.
That's
By
deep.
FF15, if I could lose this game, by definition, I could win it as well.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how far behind you are, sure, you might think it's over. One stupid play in League, one stupid play that throws away a crap ton of gold, turns a game.
Literally.
True.
In an
It
instant.
doesn't even need to throw gold. Like, literally, the
Throw
last
objective.
Baron fight will literally determine the winner. Like, you freaking kill someone at level 18, like, they're dead for half the freaking game at that point.
Yeah, you take Baron and just walk it down. Like,
yep.
any game that's losable is by definition winnable. Same thing applies to life.
That's the mindset we all should live with.
That is true.
So we've hit you with some real shit today.
Yeah.
I mean, this one's gotten pretty deep, pretty real.
Which I love.
Me too.
What's
Sometimes you gotta.
I actually have a question. What's y'all's favorite, like, not necessarily book, but like either book or motivational like speaker or like YouTuber or whatever? Like what's your favorite, like what's your go-to for that extra like you know? Before you're about to, when you're sitting on the couch, you're like, really don't want to do this today. Like who comes to your head that it's like, all right, let's just go.
I don't know if there's a particular book. Hold on, let me think if there's a person that comes to my mind.
Because for me, it's this book called Take the Stairs
Hmm.
by Roy
Oh,
Vaden.
you told me about this one.
Yeah, it's basically like he talks about how we live in a procrastination
Hmm.
where like you can get rich quick or lose weight fast or cure your ailments by taking the next magic pill, you know? And everybody lives in this like escalator mentality
Hmm.
where they want to look for the easy way to everything. And you can see it in the day to day. If you go to your mall, you'll see a jam-packed escalator next to a vacant set of stairs. And it's like
True.
it's eye-opening. And so yeah, that's like the book that I go to because it like most of the quotes that I've listed are like from that book. And I'd say it's literally my favorite book.
I mean, I do have a favorite book, but it's not really motivational. It's more related to my career. But the book has motivated me to kind of pursue the career that I'm in. So people that does not know, I'm in the field of UX research, and some people in the UX research, a big name here in UX research is Don Norman. We call him kind of the father of UX research, UX design, and he released a book long time ago, early in the UX field. It's called The Design of Everyday Things, and it's basically
Hmm.
how we utilize UX in our daily life without even knowing about it. Like cup as a handle, because it's easy to grab the cup with the handle on it, which is basically a watered down version of UX. What it is, it's basically making something that does something, and it's made easier by adding certain elements to it. Like a basic element of a cup just needs to hold a water, but we put a handle on there because a hot cup is hard to touch without a handle. So it's basically talks about those basic essence, and after reading this book, I kind of got mesmerized with UX and then kind of went into it. And in that way, I guess it has been a motivational book for me because it kind of told me to pursue a certain path and certain career. What I want to get at this though is, like, you don't need to look for motivation in books that are just supposed to be motivational. It could be like any books, but a book can has thousands of messages, and each person reading the book will interpret the message of the book differently, and it just whether it's a book, a movie, anime, whatever you watch, if you feel some sort of motivation or some sort of message that goes deep down, I feel like you should kind of try to take it and then see why is this message resonating with me, why because if it is, it's most likely aligned with what you want to do or what you're interested in or what you're trying to pursue. So I just want people to kind of realize, you just you know
That it doesn't
yeah,
have to be anything specific. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
What about you, Hidden? Still thinking?
It's hard. I'm not a
It's tough.
big book
It
reader.
really is tough because like there's a lot of things that like there are a lot of books that I've read over the course of you know my time in school and all of these other things, right? Um,
It could even be like a
I think-
YouTuber or
Yeah, I
movie.
think the thing that I think about most, there's a book called Walden by Henry David Thoreau.
Okay.
And basically it details one's journey of life, right? The premise of the book is that Thoreau goes into the woods, right? He's successful, graduated college. He's started his life in the real world, right? And says, you know what? I'm over this. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna live in the woods, off the grid, go do my own thing, right?
Okay.
She goes to this place called Walden Woods, and starts with nothing, and builds up, builds a house, or cabin, has to hunt and fish and like snare game and whatnot, right? And then like he goes through like the 4 seasons that he's in the woods. He's in there for a year, right? Doing all of these things in his interactions with people. When he finally decides he's going to go back into society, or he's going to go and visit a society, right? And says, yeah, nope, this definitely isn't for me. And goes back into the woods. And then afterwards, it's like, you know what? I've kind of realized like, society's important, and goes back. But then you realize, like, as you're reading it, you realize that, like, yeah, sure, he's telling this story about something that actually happened, but it's all metaphorical.
Yeah.
Like, every little piece of it is all a metaphor for something else in reality. Like, the seasons are a metaphor. Like, the way that he does things is a metaphor. It's all like spiritual awakening is like a theme in the book. The change from like winter to spring, right, is kind of like that transitionary moment in your life when you kind of come to realize that like there are these things in your life that you need to give some time and energy to in order to grow like a flower, right? And go and do all these things. So like that's something I read my junior year of high school. Phenomenal teacher, right, that taught this section. And every time someone's like recommending a book, like this is the first one that comes to mind, is like, go read this book, and then don't take it literally, right?
Yeah.
Find metaphors, like read in between the lines, figure out like what is he actually trying to talk about, right? And in order for you to be a functioning member of society, you have to go through these internal changes in order to figure out what's actually important, and figure out how are you going to contribute to how the rest of the world works, right? How are you going to make your mark? How are you expecting to be able to accomplish all of those things if you have not yet yourself figured out what you need in order to be successful in your own world? How can you make the rest of the world successful? How can you go out and be this big important person if you yourself have something going on in your own life that's preventing you from being successful in your own definition?
Yeah, that's freaking dope. I mean, that's like how I enjoy the company I work for. They're like philosophy is like you start leading self, and then you can lead others, and then from there you lead in joy. And so yeah, it's all about self. Like, put your own mask on before you can mask up someone else.
Yeah.
Say it on
It's
every
important.
airplane.
Yeah. True. And
I mean,
go ahead, Tapshin.
no, go ahead.
No.
No, it's okay. I was gonna say much. I was just gonna say I totally agree.
Yeah. So like, it comes into the same thing when you're talking about like you mentioned leading, right? How are you expected to be a good leader if you don't know your own goals, right? How are you expected to set the goals of other people, right? And then hold them accountable to those things if you're not setting your own goals and holding yourself accountable, right? being able to be a good leader is 100% defined by how good can you lead yourself, right?
Yeah.
Are you waiting for someone else to tell you what to do? Why?
True. Yeah, like it's better. I always believe it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission.
To an extent, obviously there's some
Yeah.
things that it's just not in your realm, your scope of capability to be like, I'm making this decision, I'm running with it, right?
Right.
You just can't do that. There are limitations to that, but like there are other things that, are 100% in your control, right? I could decide to go and, do whatever,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And then just go back and say, hey, I really thought this is a good idea. I wanted to kind of test the waters a little bit before I brought this to you to see what your thoughts were and go from there. And again, I'm going to put the qualifier on this for people that are just going to go and do their own thing. Like, there are limitations to that. Like
Yeah.
there is like an actual scope of like, this is something that's actually in my ability to go and do this. You can't just go and give a product away to a customer or something like that and be like, well, the customer was upset and I was trying to make them feel better, so I gave something away.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's
that
not
doesn't
going to
really
work.
work.
Right.
It's true.
So like there's limitations, but like as long as it's something that's within your scope of things that you can actually do, sure. If someone else made a mistake, and then a customer comes and talks to you about the fact that somebody else made a mistake, you're not going to say, well, let me go get this person, you can talk to them about it. You're going to be like, okay, what happened? And then you're going to try and field the conversation, right? And then do what you can to try and make it better. Hey, obviously I'm not this person. I'm really sorry about how you were treated, right? This isn't what we stand for as a company or whatever, you want to say, right?
Mhm.
And, this is what I can offer to try and compensate you a little bit, and do whatever you can to make the customer happy at that point. That's something that you have control over that you don't need to then go and get permission for. Because all you're going to do is make somebody angry if you're like, hang on, let me go grab my manager, right?
Yeah.
And
Right.
they can tell you that stuff. Right? Because the manager's going to tell you exactly what you knew they were going to say. Why don't you just say it?
Yeah.
Someone says, hey, I want to talk to the manager.
I'd be like, I don't know
I
if
can
that's
handle it.
possible, but
Yeah,
you can hit him up.
sure. Yeah, I'll go like I'll go grab one. If I've had it happen where like my managers, like as like I was a team lead, right? But like obviously I have like managers over me, and someone would be like, I want to talk. They would walk up to another employee and be like, I want to talk to a manager, right?
Mhm.
Specifically a manager, not a team lead. A manager will be like, can you just go over there and like pretend to be a manager? You're like,
Yep.
yeah. So I just go over there and I do exactly what I know a manager would do, right? And the customer doesn't know the difference,
Yeah.
right? They really don't. It's all about how you like handle yourself, right? Are you
Yep.
going to act like a leader? Are you going to act like a problem solver? Or are you going to just push it off to somebody else? And if you're the push it off to somebody else kind of person, you're not meant to be in leadership. I'm sorry.
True.
It's true.
100% agree
There's a
with that.
difference between delegation and being lazy, or delegation and like not doing somebody else's job,
Yeah.
right? Someone comes to me and says, hey, I need you to do this. I'm probably going to do it unless I legitimately cannot do it, or it's something that I know somebody else is supposed to be doing, like, or that they're already in the middle of doing it, right? But if it's
Yeah.
not something that's already on someone else's scope of work, I'll probably try my best to do it myself. And if I can't, then I'll be like, hey, I've got this thing. I need you to do this. Right. Or if I'm just absolutely slammed with other stuff, then I might message somebody and be like, hey, I need you to take care of this for me, please. Right.
It's true.
And they'll 9 times out of 10, they'll probably do it because they understand that if it's not something that I'm taking care of myself, they understand he's
But
busy.
they need to. Yeah.
Or that I need them. Right. And they know the key pieces I need that person. And part of being a good leader is recognizing the fact that you can't do everything. Right. You've got to surround yourself with people that are good in other areas that you are lacking in. A great president, right, would be somebody that can pick cabinet members that specialize in all of the things that they can't do, right?
True.
And the president should just be the person that can field the conversations and then be somebody that can disseminate the information out, right? And then make a decision, right? Someone that can collect the info and then send it out. A great CEO. A great CEO isn't somebody that knows how to get out on the floor and work the and like make the product. That's just not what makes a great CEO. But a great CEO is somebody that knows, okay, I need somebody that for a CFO position, someone that's really good with finances. I need, someone that's really good at operations. I need someone that's going to be really good at marketing, right?
Yep.
And they surround themselves with these other experts, right, that are really good at those things, and then just field the conversation between everybody and then make a decision once you gather all the information, right? Same concept. Those are good leaders, and that's why they're in the positions that they're in, is because they're good leaders.
On top of, like, especially like becoming a leader, you kind of have to you have to be a good problem solver. Needed, because you can't just go asking your manager because now you're the manager. You can't be you kind of have to problem solve from the get, because the more that you show that you can't do it yourself, why would they expect you to teach someone else how to do it if you can't do it yourself?
Right. Can we talk about the fact that problem solving skills seem to be on the decline? People in general just seem to have
this
overall lack of problem solving skills, and I don't know why.
It's so bad. It's so bad.
But see, that's the thing. Everyone's so fast to blame the internet, but I don't think that's the problem. Because if anything, the internet should be a tool to help you problem solve better.
Well, it's actually doing the problem
and that's a mindset thing,
isn't it?
Maybe.
If somebody asks something, instead of thinking for it yourself, people are always like, just Google it. Just search it.
Yeah. That's the thing.
That's the thing. The person that said just Google it, problem solved.
Yeah.
Why did you ask? Why did you not just go and Google it yourself? Because you didn't take that problem solving step of, okay, I don't know the answer to this question. Let me go and look it up. Right? Yeah. And then let me fact check it.
Instead, they called you, and then you were like,
you problem solve and tell them.
Yeah, you're like, oh, I don't know. I would literally just Google it. Why are you not just Googling it?
Yeah, why cut out
why are you calling me for a question that you could have just Googled?
Okay.
And it all comes down to the fact that, and that is exactly what's wrong, is that people stop thinking for themselves, right?
Yeah.
And it's not because the internet exists. It's because they stopped practicing it. It stopped being taught in schools. It stopped doing all of this. My dad, when I was growing up, my dad would give me these books of problem solving whatever's techniques or just puzzles, right? That were just logic based. If this is this, then this has to be this, right? Or if this isn't this, then this has to be this, or whatever, right? And they would just be these huge grids of logic puzzles, and I would do them for hours. And it's kind of like a crossword where it'll give you this clue, right? And then you have to use the clue to then fill in the grid properly. And if you get it wrong, then the grid's not going to work out, right? You'll have doubles on things and all these other things. And I would do this for hours. Sudoku puzzles, same thing, right?
Yep.
We'd do this for hours, and it would be a competition in our house. Who could do the hardest Sudoku puzzle of the week, right? My dad would print them out and give them to all the kids and be like, here you go. First one to come back with a correct Sudoku puzzle gets something, right? Usually not financial stuff. Normally it's get a ice cream cone for McDonald's or something like that. It was, or whatever. You get a little extra screen time or something like that on your game, or one less chore that you have to do for the week, whatever it was, right? But we were constantly like being pushed to think.
Right.
Yeah. As where like so the problem I think arises with like everyone's trying to please everybody. Like like if you
Participation
perform
trophies.
yeah, participation trophies.
Mm-hmm.
Literally the only purpose of participation trophies are to demean the person who won and make the people who participated feel better. So that way, it's now more equal. Like, it doesn't need to be equal. They lost. Who
And
cares?
that's, yeah, like it's somebody's got to tell people that, right? Not everything's going to be equal, right?
Yeah.
There is inequality all over the world, right? Some would argue that the quality of living in the United States, or is so much better than living in all these other places, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's some truth to that, and there's some not, right? I would say that there are other countries that do other things better than the United States,
True.
right? And there are a lot of places that do things worse, right? And that's just a fact, right? Being born in the United States as opposed to being born in like the Middle East, for example, right? It's not equal. The
Yeah.
opportunity for being born in the US is so, like, the opportunity that you get just for being born in this country is so great compared to other places. And people just take that for granted.
Mhm.
Yep.
Life is not equal. Somebody that grows up in a poor neighborhood statistically is going to be less likely to grow up to succeed than someone that's born in a rich neighborhood.
Right.
Yep.
There are factors involved. Education, like schools, quality of schools, right, which are funded through property taxes, right? So by default, they're going to get poorer education in terms of finances provided.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean the quality of the teacher is going to be poorer, right, or
Yeah.
less quality, because there's phenomenal teachers
Yeah.
in poor areas, and there's some really shitty teachers in really expensive areas. It's a fact, right?
It is.
But
It really
in
is.
terms of finances provided to the school, poorer areas are at a disadvantage, right?
Mhm.
So the point of it is, it's not equal. Not everybody's going to get the same opportunity.
Yeah. So stop
It's what opportunity
pretending it
you make
is.
for yourself. Yeah. So why
Right.
are we pretending? Why are we telling people it's okay to fail? Like, oh, sorry. Why are we saying that it's okay? Like
Like that you did your part by
that you
losing.
didn't do your best,
Mm.
right? If you didn't try hard enough and didn't win, why are you being rewarded for that?
Yeah.
If you, honest to God, tried your hardest and you still didn't succeed,
Mhm.
that's okay, because you at a core can then say, I tried my best, and I tried my best, right? And that gives you something to then improve on.
What did he do?
Yeah, yell that.
Oh, for being loud?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why? So we'll get back into this and then we'll wrap it up, right?
Yep.
If you didn't, honest to God, try your hardest, right? How are you expected to grow, right? You should take the feeling of failure, right, which a lot of people are afraid of, right? You should take that feeling of, I failed at this,
Mhm.
and then put that into your fuel for how to succeed more, right? I need to try harder. Like, there's something I need to improve to be able to be better,
Right.
right? So that next time I come into this situation, I can then give my 110% and say, I did my hard, like I tried my hardest again, right? And if you then see, an improvement, then you can say, okay, I saw an improvement. Clearly my work paid off. But if you don't put in 100%, 110%, or whatever you want to like put in, right? If you're not putting in that effort, then
You deserved
you're
it.
never going to see. Yeah, you deserve the failure.
Yeah. And that I think that's what makes this whole problem solving skills thing so bad is that people just like are not able to fail. Like we're like a society is people pleasing too much. Like I get it to an extent for the people that did try and might feel too discouraged. I do get that. I don't get it for the people who didn't.
We talk about like the Karens, the Karen meme, right?
Oh, Karens.
Like we like there's this demographic of people, right, that are exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah.
People that will not accept failure. Like they can't recognize that they did something wrong, which then put them in the situation that they're in, and then they demand to be treated the same as everybody else, even though they did something wrong.
Yeah.
I paid for the wrong product, right? I paid for the wrong product, but that's your fault because you didn't check it, right? I got the wrong thing. I paid for the wrong thing, but I didn't check it.
Yeah. And
There's a difference.
It's
I didn't
always
check
like
to make
that,
sure
dude.
that I did the right thing. And then I'm demanding that you treat it as if I had done something right. What happens to the people that did do something right? What are they getting?
How do you feel about people pleasing, Tapshin?
I mean, there's a difference between being nice and and there's like a fine line between like trying to be nice and then like giving rewarding people for things basically that they are not they don't deserve basically. Um Obviously just because somebody, we're not saying that, if you don't get first, you're worthless, like, and you didn't try hard enough. Like, we're not saying that. Like, even if you tried your hardest and like worked your butt off, the reality is there's only gonna be one first place people. And it's not always gonna be you. I mean, unfortunately.
Not everybody can be Bill Gates.
But the
It's
thing
true.
is, the thing that we all are kind of getting at is people that does not even try. Just because, just because they were part of something or just because, they participated in something, people saying, "Oh, good job." People saying, "Oh, you know, next time, you'll do better next time." Those are mindless like, soulless speeches that we give to people that really does not deserve it. It's kind of, like Honest kind of mentioned, it's kind of underwhelming the people that actually put their work in and then actually got there to get the first. We should kind of recognize the people that took first because they had to put that work in instead of trying to be nice, quote unquote, trying to be nice to the people who did not get first and then said, "Oh, good job, it's okay, whatever, blah blah blah." No, like you should tell them sometimes. Being a realist, I always tell my friends or whoever I'm around, like I don't try to sugarcoat things. Like if they, didn't get something because they just simply didn't try hard enough, that's what I just tell them. Like, you know, unfortunately, you didn't get first, but you didn't deserve first, in my opinion, because blah blah blah. I try to be real with
Yeah.
people, and I think in a long run, that's gonna be more beneficial to the people that's hearing that because people might start getting complacent in their place and say, people say it's okay even if I don't win. People say it's okay. People compliment me even if I don't do always the best. I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure people might start to think in a way where they think it's okay to be, below average or not up to par or not performing to a certain degree. But in reality, people that are telling that to you really doesn't give a shit about how you do. They just are saying that because they want to look nice to you. They're not saying that for you to, improve, or they're not saying that for your own good. They're just saying that so think of me as a better person. And I personally feel like It's not going to be any beneficial to you. It might hurt your feelings. Yeah, sure, whatever. But I feel like you kind of have to take it with a grain of salt when somebody tells you, it's okay. You tried your best. Blah blah blah. You should really ask yourself, did you really try your best? Was that the best you could done?
Yeah.
Like, are you really okay with how well you perform or how poorly you performed? Or are you gonna try harder next time and then actually try to make something happen for yourself and improve and self-reflect on yourself, That's kind of the stance where I stand with all this.
Yeah, it's definitely like you have to have self-awareness. If
Mhm.
if you're not self-aware of like that you didn't try, why would you reward that? And
Mhm.
I think that the reason that a lot of people, I mean myself included, have a hard time with being candor, which is like it's kindness, like it's the
Mhm.
kinder thing to do,
Mhm.
even though it's not equated with being nice, right?
Right.
I I still have a hard time with it because of that exact thing. Like you're always taught, like, and even in business, like you still have to make all of the employees satisfied, even if you know that these employees don't deserve this reward.
Mhm. Mhm.
But since you're announcing it as like, oh, everybody gets this reward, they also get it.
Yeah. Those I kind of have issue with.
Yeah, I do too. I have a huge issue with it
Mhm.
because
Because it makes the people that like gets the reward when they really don't deserve it, like it makes them think, oh, I don't really need to work hard to get these sort of rewards. Like I'm
yeah,
okay.
and then
Which
they'll do less.
exactly, and they'll still get the reward because it's just given out to people. That's just
Yeah,
how it is.
and I freaking hate it, dude. That's exactly what's happening in my work, and I hate
And then it,
it.
it kind of diminishes the motivation of everybody around them that are like kind of trying or is trying and saying like, well, like that person like doesn't do shit and he gets all that. Why am I doing this and I get the same thing that he does?
Yep.
The person that doesn't do anything that gets promoted over the person that's working the
Oh,
hardest and is
God.
told, well, you work so hard, I don't want to lose you in your position. Like, bro, what? Like,
Yeah,
bruh.
what kind of excuse is that?
dude. The problem that I think is happening is that the people pleasers, like they're literally trying to people please,
Yeah.
because I think literally from like their perspective, like let's say they chose to promote somebody over me, like in my mind I'm thinking like, okay, like even if I outperformed them in every way, right, let's just say they're hypothetically worse than me, the worst choice, and they chose them,
Hmm.
but they're still better choice than anyone else, right? So if we choose this person, the damage control that they'd have to do for me is not that high, right? They they just simply talk about it, whatever. I'm self-aware enough to know that, like, okay, maybe I didn't try hard enough.
Hmm.
As where they would probably quit and they'd lose a valuable asset, right? And so they're like, well, if we promote this person, they won't quit. If we promote this person, they will. So
Yep.
we're gonna promote this person that will quit. That way we can keep both, which I do not think is a good idea
Nope. Nope. Nope.
I mean,
because
I understand it from a business perspective of like wanting to
yeah,
retain employees, but like realistically, in terms of a company, you should be trying to empower your employees to not ever have that like sense of like, I'll just quit.
yeah, like if they're just gonna quit, then oh well, then fine, then leave
Hmm.
later.
Yeah,
Well,
We don't
here's
need
the
you.
door.
yeah, if you leave, this person will probably rise up to the occasion. So That's actually a
if
good
they're-
thing.
This is the company that we want to be working for. Right?
Yeah, honestly,
Yeah.
if the person is working with the mind of like, I'll just quit, they're probably not even trying that hard.
Mm-hmm.
So are they even worth keeping, even if they don't want to quit? If they have that kind of mindset,
Exactly.
is that the person that you want to work with, or would you rather hire someone that may have less experience, but more passionate and willing to put extra work in?
Yeah.
I think I would go for the latter if I was running a business.
It's true. Well, dope. I think that's a good spot.
I think so. All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to the podcast. Diving Scoundrel Slayers, episode number 5.
There's a lot of
know we
things.
got-
I'll put it in the description.
A lot of
But-
things.
Videos, whatever.
Yes, sir. We talked about a lot of really deep stuff. We didn't even get through like half of our list that we came up of other
Oh
topics.
yeah.
Oh, it's
But-
pretty dope.
I really think this one, this one
This
is
was a good one.
It was.
This is a good one. So we'll see you guys next week. Vaughn will be back, and we'll be ready to rock and roll with a maybe a little bit less deep of a conversation.
Yeah. And
Thank you guys for tuning
maybe we'll have a 5th again. You never
Maybe.
know.
We'll see. We'll see.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys, and we will see you guys next week.
Later.
SG out.